listening to it yesterday.
See, I think if we can figure out the light situation, so you're not dark, then I think we'd be fine. Right. You ready to go? You ready to just absorb like a sponge?
You know, sponge is my middle
Okay, it
name.
depends on what you're eating.
Baby sponge. Sponge holder.
Sponge holder.
I really want a verb for a first name, so it's like, you know, an action word. You get holder for that. Actually, I'd like to do my last name. I'd like to be Andy Rocks. R-O-X. Yeah, that'd be a real estate.
Andy Rocks.
Andy Rocks. That's supposed to be your middle
There we
name
go.
and the first street you lived on. The middle name and the first street you lived on. James Lawndale. I'll change it to Lawndale.
There you go.
And the street you grew up in.
All right, I think we'll get started. You have an announcement? We don't have any announcement time for today. I'm sorry. You can help me give an announcement real quick.
I will be quick. So many of you have already heard this one. I have more flags if I could, please. Tomorrow night we're tying these blankets for these women that are being offered a retreat to where they have the opportunity to work out some of their issues because they've been sexually abused as youth. Most of them as youth, but and so we're tying. What we're doing is fleece blankets, and we're going to do that tomorrow night from 4 until 7 here. And if you decide to come, please let me know because we need you to bring a ruler and a pair of sharp scissors, and it would be really helpful. If you can't come but would like to donate money so that we can buy some more material and get some more journals, I'm collecting money till the end of the day today. So we would love to, you guys help. This is one of the foundation's opportunities to help people out there, and this is one we've picked because we feel it's very, very important. So we'd love your help. Please come to me or give me a call so that we can finish doing this today. Thank you.
Okay.
that
Any
was
questions on
last.
that? Last one. Any questions about that?
I don't have questions on hers, but
Uh-huh.
Since I'm new and I don't know what the red writing, all of the things are,
Okay.
I'm looking at the one for Tony Robbins next in November.
Yep.
Where is that held, and is that free to all of us, or what is it?
No, it's not free. It's in San Jose. We do get a pretty good discount for it. Not sure what it
I
is,
think
but it's
$6.95, but you got to do it by the end of the week.
yeah,
How much?
$6.95.
I
$6.95.
had a feeling it was 7.
Yeah, $6.95.
Yeah, but then they get you up into like the VIP section,
Yeah.
so you're closer. If you haven't done that, who's done that? Has anybody done that? Just you and me.
I'm new.
Well, Kevin was telling me about, Kevin Peterson was telling me about it. Did you want to come close?
Definitely worth doing it.
Impressive.
Very helpful. Have you listened? You guys listened to Tony Robbins before?
I listen to his tapes all the time.
Okay. Yeah, definitely worth it. Plan on long days and long nights. But San Jose is a lot closer than some of the other places, so it's not going to be that expensive. This one right here, Prospecting in the Pit, we're getting lower numbers the last couple of days, but if you want to come up and prospect and have somebody split in or just have some pressure to get on the phone, if the problem is not making the calls, it's actually getting on the phone. That's usually the hardest part about it. This is a really big help because Russ goes around and says, "Why aren't you on the phone? Why aren't you on the phone?" all day long. Oh wait, no, Russ didn't show up today. That was my job.
And we work off each other's successes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and as the energy level increases, so does your mindset, and you start setting appointments. In fact, it's not uncommon to see on a day that someone sets an appointment that we'll have 3, 4, 5 set that day. When no appointments are being set, then it seems like a spiral that nobody's setting appointments. So we just need somebody to get in there and fire it up. I think last week at Sales Talk, 90% of success is what? Showing up in your mind. 10% is skills, or 5% is skills, and 5% is who you talk to. So if it's mostly mental, come up here and do that. We just talked about that one. Friday, is it 10 to 12?
Yeah.
Right. Procuring cause, we're gonna have our company attorney come in and talk to us about that. This is a big deal because we have clients that wander off and do different things. So know how to protect yourself and educate your client, because a lot of times they're not doing it maliciously. They're looking for a home.
Is this the same class that he did a few weeks ago or a month or so ago? Do you know?
I don't think
I didn't do one here.
He did?
Sam hasn't taught for a while.
Okay, someone else did.
We did one about, no, this one's a really good one because if you get in trouble in our company, you will be talking with Sam, and so he's going to teach you how to write the addenda. Unleash your power within, and then the new agent training, that starts tomorrow, right? No, yesterday. So if you didn't show up, you don't get that. That's right. We'll take off that one.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. You didn't show up. Anybody doing that?
Yeah.
Who's the new agent? Okay. Are you going to this class?
I was at half of it and had a doctor appointment, so I couldn't stay in.
Yeah.
That was the one I really needed, was the filling out of that rep sheet and the mistakes that were on it. I could have used that.
Well, it was videoed, so I can send you the video.
And
So-
it's a good video.
Yeah, just so you know, if you don't, you have to do it in the first year, right?
2 years.
First 2 years.
The 12-hour new agent, you have to do it in the first.
Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
So in the first year, if you're a new agent, you have to do that. If not, it's $175 at the board,
I think it's like a 20 or something.
120. So it's cheaper than I thought. Still $120. It's still here for free. So, okay, is that good? Anyone else have
You're
any
gonna do that
thoughts?
quarterly? Are you gonna recycle that through so that every?
Yeah, we good? So today I get the opportunity to share with you a few of my thoughts, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that has been on my mind for a lot this year, and it's growth, and it's becoming the best you can be daily. Now, is there something in your life that you want to get better at? What's something you want to get better at?
Prospecting.
Prospecting, okay?
You want life or business?
Both. I kind of look at life and business as if you're trying to separate them, you're going to struggle. They just kind of, for me, it needs to be the same. That's who you are, what you're doing. So life, too.
Better organized in my life in general, because it does affect absolutely everything.
Better organization,
Yes.
okay? So prospecting, better organization. Anything else?
Memorizing scripts.
Memorizing scripts. You want to get better at memorizing scripts?
Yes, I'm not-
Just the memorization process or the scripts?
Well, I'll look at Lindsay when she's up there doing the thing that you do in the morning, the
Uh-huh.
repeat thing. She's whipping that thing off so fast, I can't follow
Come
that.
stand back.
I was gonna say, you would want to.
You would want us to team up.
It's like a train, just-
Lindsay is probably the fastest one
Yeah.
that we got. Okay, so the scripts.
I'll let you know what day I'm gonna go up there and do it.
Please.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
I tried last week for you. I switched it around and we went from the bottom to the
bottom up?
top.
Yeah, well.
And how will that go? We went slow.
And Lindsay probably
And
knows.
guess
what's
what?
about.
We get in this
I
cadence
internalized
of doing the
that.
same thing over and over and over, and we start doing it subconsciously. Well, when you get to that point, you start getting faster and faster and faster and faster, right?
To a certain point.
Well, I think it's something to think about, and it's something we can talk about today, because when we get into a cadence of doing the same thing over and over, what if what we're doing is not good habits?
Yep.
It can be very bad, right? It can lead us in a direction that we don't want to go. Well, the problem comes in when we start functioning from a subconscious level, we stop thinking about it. We stop thinking and we just do it. And so it takes someone else to bring that to our attention that says, hey, you're doing that. You're doing this. You know, have you ever had that when you're speaking or you're talking and somebody says, well, you say a lot or aha or
Yes.
what would you say?
Like.
Like, yeah. You know, where
Slang,
Dude.
just slang.
Dude?
Dude.
Rod. Rod did that a lot last week. Dude. Yeah. Yeah. So we get in this habit, we stop thinking about it. And it's not until we actually get it brought to our attention that we're like, oh yeah, I do that an awful lot. So I agree, we get into this cadence. And so what else do we want to learn? What if I was going to ask you, we're sitting down one-on-one, and I was going to say, what is one thing you want to grow and become better at? What would it be? Prospecting. Okay.
Following up.
Following up. Following up with your
Clients.
commitments.
No, with clients, with, like, just keep on following up with clients. Sometimes
Following up
I
with
forget
clients.
following up, so.
Yeah. 70% of our business is through follow-up. Yeah, that's good. What about life in general? Russ, do you got anything? What do you want to get better at?
Being more outgoing.
Aw.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
It was a giant leap. So I have to tell this story. It was kind of funny. We were down in Long Beach?
Which
Long
time?
Beach? For the management retreat.
No, it was,
Long.
yeah. Huntington
We
Beach.
were out there, and I decided I was going running, and I dragged him along with me. And at the end of the run, I wanted to finish running and then go run and jump in the ocean. And the whole way he's telling me, I'm not going to jump in the ocean. I won't jump in the ocean.
In Long Beach, you were gonna jump in?
Yeah.
Huntington.
Huntington.
Okay, that's better. I'm
Huntington.
from Long Beach. You really want to go in the water?
No, Huntington. It's beautiful. Huntington Beach.
Huntington's better.
Huntington is beautiful beach, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning, so it was a little bit cold. I said, well, I'm jumping in. I'm going to run and jump in. And as soon as I got in there, he decided he's going to be a little more adventurous.
You jumped in.
And what was your thought after you got done?
I was glad I did it. It was fun.
Sometime,
Woke you right up.
well, the 3
The
mile
run.
the 3 mile run might have woke him up too,
That's true.
but yeah. So I want to share with you 5 things that help with massive growth. And these are things that, can tie to whether you're talking about lead follow-up, prospecting. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to talk specifically about real estate and growth in the real estate and how we can get it. Because Dave wanted me to talk more about prospecting and secrets to prospecting. And the biggest, I was thinking about, okay, what's the secret to prospecting? It's just doing it. So that we're done. So I figured we probably better do something other than just the secret of prospecting. So I thought of 5 ways to see massive growth. And these are things that I've been practicing and going through this whole year because growth has been on my mind. The first thing I want to talk to you about is what I call tracking everything. Who tracks what they do? Okay, how do you guys track it? What do you do? What do you track and how do you track it?
I'm tracking how many people I talk to every day,
Okay.
how many appointments, how many voicemails I leave, and how many emails I send.
Okay. And when you track that, what are you doing with it? Like, are you at the end of the day, you say, I left 5 voicemails, good job. What are we trying to do with it?
I'm trying to achieve my goal every week, and then I take my tracker at the end of the week and I turn it into Amy.
So use it more of like an accountability
Yes.
kind of a form where I'm going to do a certain amount of things, so I'm going to track that.
Yeah,
Does that
which
make
is
sense?
why I'm here today, because I've
Because
taken training.
it was on it, so you're forced to listen.
I have to have a training once a week to continue to grow, right?
Yeah. Good. Well, hopefully you can get something out of it today because I think there's a lot, especially in this first section. I'm very analytical, so I'm going to kind of geek out on you for a second. I'm going to show you some reasons to track it. I'm going to actually show you why it's important to track certain numbers, especially the numbers you're talking about, and how we can use that to improve. They say that whatever's measured can be improved, right? And if you want to improve something, you need to start measuring it. Has anybody ever tried to go off some kind of a food or go on a diet or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever written your menu stuff down? What does that do for you mentally when you write your stuff
It
down?
breaks you down, man. Makes you feel bad. Oh, I ate that.
Makes you feel bad.
I believe I ate that.
It makes me accountable when I write it down.
Yeah. So do you need to be accountable to somebody else, or just if you saw it, it would help you?
Well, if I enlisted somebody else to, hey, watch my weight grow,
Mm-hmm.
up or down.
Yeah.
It makes you not graze because you don't want to have to put it all down.
Yeah, you're like,
Right.
oh, 2 M&Ms, I shouldn't have eaten that, I don't want to write that down.
You become more
Yeah.
conscious of what you're doing when you have to write it down.
Yeah.
Like I did the whole 30 and it was awesome, but it was grueling because I had to write down every single thing that I put in my mouth.
Mhm.
But then after 2 or 3 days, I became really conscious of what I was putting in my mouth.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest key with tracking, is starting to take things that we're doing in the background and bringing it to the foreground and saying, what are we doing and how are we doing it? So when you're tracking what you're eating, what you're doing, I have a Fitbit, so I track my steps. Now, it's amazing because this one I have set for every, on the hour, if I haven't walked 250 steps, it will buzz and says time to start walking.
So how many are you doing a day? You doing 10,000 a day?
10,000.
So you're
So-
gonna just walk back and forth.
So this is the, yeah. No, I'll get it in. I'll get it in. But when it says it, it brings it up in this consciousness. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I have been sitting for the last 50 minutes and haven't moved one step, you're right? And so it just brings us to this consciousness. So when we're talking about real estate, I want to show you an example that I've gone through a few times with some agents, and it's specifically with these. I'm going to give you one scenario and then 3 different options, and I want you to tell me which option you think is better. Okay? Now this is the analytical side, so don't shut off if you don't like numbers, because it will all make sense. Okay, so if we talk to 1,500 people, so that's our contact.
That's no good.
Because we can't see it.
You can't see it? Oh, I can see it just fine. What's wrong? All right. Okay, so we talked to 1,500 people. Out of the 1,500 people, you've seen George do this lots of times with this, but we're going to go a different direction. You set 100 appointments, okay? What that equals is 1 out of every 15 calls you're setting an appointment, okay? We're going to attend 50% of them. If you're attending more than 50% of them, then we want to look at your pre-qualification, because not everyone's going to be qualified. So just because this number is lower doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. And then out of that, let's just say we take 12, which equals 24% taken. So a lower number, okay? I think this is more realistic when we're starting. You know, we want to get you up to 75, you're taking 75% of it, but let's just start with this number, okay? So if we do 12 times our average commission in our organization here is $6,800, you're $81,600 that you made from that, okay? Does that make sense? Is anything unclear on that? Okay? Now I'm going to give you some options. Option number 1. We decided we're going to increase our contacts. So we increase our contacts to 2,000 contacts. Okay? We're still going to do 1 out of every 15 we're setting, which means now we've set 133 appointments set. Okay, we're still going to attend 50% of them, so 66 attended. And we're still going to convert 24%, so that's going to be 16 taken. So 16 times 6,800 equals 108,800. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, option number 2. We're not going to increase our contacts. We're going to keep them at 1,500. But we're going to try to drop our numbers 1 out of every 12 contacts. We're going to set an appointment. So we're setting more appointments. Okay? So that means we set 125 set. We're still attending only 50%. We're only taking 24%. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the last option. We're going to stick with our original 1,500 contacts. We're going to stick with setting 1 out of every 15. We're going to attend 50%. But we're going to change our conversion ratio from 24% plus 10%, so we're at 34%. Which means we're going to take 16. Oh, not 16, 17, sorry. We're going to take 17, 6,800 equals 115, 600. Okay, so those are our 3 options. Which option would you rather take? Why?
It's
More
more
money.
effective, more
Okay, so it's more money, that's true.
more efficient.
More efficient. Tell me a little bit more about that. Why is it more efficient?
Well, you're still talking the same amount of people, but you're attending the same amount as the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but you're converting more and making more. So it's a win all the way around.
Yeah. So let's break this down.
Why don't
So
we blend number 2 and 3 together?
what's that?
Let's blend 2 and 3 together.
Blend 2 and 3 together.
Meaning make more.
What, set more appointments?
Set more,
You're
get
saying?
better at setting.
Oh,
And
oh, converting them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different things we can
yeah.
mesh in there. But here's the thing I want you to look at. If you decide that you're going to take this scenario and you keep it right here, this is how much money we're going to make. Let's say that we decide that, okay, I'm going to increase my contacts. How many people have set an accountability that's changed from, well, I want to talk to 50 people a day now? We've heard that before, right?
Yeah.
Where we're like, okay, we're going to switch it. We're going to talk to more people. We want to talk to more people. Okay? So in that scenario, we talk to more people, but our skills and everything is exactly the same. So everything just follows this line, which is our skill level. So here's our skill level line. Now we change one thing. We change the contacts we want to do. Now here's the thing that's interesting. From that to here, we had added 16 more appointments. Okay? Let's just say that you spend an hour at the appointment, you spend a half an hour preparing and a half an hour driving. There's 2 hours, right? You're going to spend 32 hours more in this scenario. Okay? 32 hours more to do this.
No, that's just at the appointments, it's not also about
If
the
we-
contacting more
on the
people.
contract.
Yeah, plus contacting more people. You add another 500 contacts, and that's, for some of you guys, it's 2 months of work.
And it's only 4
10
more
days.
taken.
Yeah. So then you're looking at that. So then in this one, we decide we're going to keep it there, but we do increase some of our skills. We increase our skills with setting the appointments. So we're setting more appointments. We're still attending 12 more appointments. So 24 hours just in appointments that we're creating, right? Okay. In this scenario, we're changing one thing right here. Can we control the listings that we take?
Yes.
How do we control it?
Pre-qual.
Pre-qualification?
Skills.
Skill set? So the thing about this is you're still attending that. So when we talk about working smarter, not harder, working less time, being more effective, there's one thing to focus on.
Being better.
Getting better at converting it. I learned this lesson back in 2014. So in 2013, I talked to 3,500 people for the year, which is just over 12 a day.
Can I stop you?
Uh-huh.
You consider talking to someone, or do you consider calling someone, talking to someone?
You have to
Yes.
actually talk.
Which actually having conversation about real
Conversation.
estate. Thank you.
Yes,
I
yeah,
really
no
like that.
messages. It has to be, for my standards, they have to be old enough to do something in real estate. So if I call somebody up and it's a kid and I can tell these guys cannot buy or sell and they say their mom's not home, that doesn't count as a contact for me.
Okay.
So that's how I do it. But if I call for a sub-owner and they say, I don't want to talk to you, I hate realtors, that's one.
One of the ones you know.
Yeah.
One
Yep.
step closer. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a huge aha for me. So I talked to 3,500 people that year, and my conversion ratio was around 32%. So it wasn't really super great. I was about 50% on my set to attend ratio. So I was right on that one. And then when I went to the take, it was about 32%. And so the next year I said, okay, what I want to do is I want to focus on taking that number up 10%. I want to increase my take-in ratio up 10% to up to 42 is where I wanted to be. And at the end of the year, so in 2015, I talked to just over 1,600 people, so about half as many as I did the year before. And I got my ratio up to 42%, and I ended up making about $80,000 more than the previous year.
Wow.
And I talked to less people. I talked to almost half as many people. So when we're looking at tracking numbers, this is why I get excited about tracking anything that we do. When we're conscious of what we're doing, we can make decisions on where we're at based on our numbers. So the things that we want to do is appointments. We want to track appointments, attended, taken, and contacts. And I used to, this is the part that if you aren't analytical, you probably won't like, but I created a sheet for myself where I just entered my numbers in every month so that I could go through every month and I could tell exactly what it was, and then at the end of the month it would just tell me what percentage mine was so that I knew where to improve. Because if I saw this number starting to dip, then I knew I needed to take a step back and I needed to work on my presentation. If I saw that these numbers were not even close to where I needed to be, my contacts, so I set my objective. I want to talk to 1,500 people in the first quarter or the half the year or whatever we're trying to do, and I was way below that, and my numbers were right on. I was like, oh, okay, this is great, but I'm not making the money that I want to make. Then I know I need to change something in there. But I'll at least know where they are. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So the other thing that it does for me, and this is an aha I had at Sales Talk last week. So this is pretty fresh on my mind. But if I talk to in this scenario, I talked to 1,500 people, and 17 of them I took listings from. That means 1,483 people said no to me. So when I have a bad day and I had 6 people reject me,
Closer to that number.
I'm getting close to that number. So if I said, if you'll talk to 1,500 people, just talk to them. I don't care what they say. You talk to 1,500 people, I'll write you a check for $115,600. Who would do that? So why won't we do that before? Because why wouldn't we do it? I mean, that's the scenario. I know where my numbers are. That's exactly what I'm going to get.
Some people don't like 1,483 rejections.
Especially if they're all up front.
Yeah.
If you had to go through all of this just to get your 17 in a row, boom, 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 boom. So that was an aha I had over there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Any questions on tracking?
No, I have a comment though. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not analytical, and that's
Uh-huh.
perfectly fine. I'm visual.
Yeah.
So I play game. Okay, I like games. So, I need to do this. I realize that after all these years, I still need to do this, okay? Because at the end of the year, I go, okay, what happened here? Or I had a good year, so what made this different than last year? It wasn't the market.
Mhm.
It was my doing this or not doing this. But every day, in order to make this doable, this big chunk, I start out with little chunks. I have 2 things on my desk, and one's a black marble and one's a clear marble. And every time I get a rejection, I put it in the black marble, and then when I get an appointment. So that way I have a visual and I'm playing the game, and
Mhm.
I go, golly, look at 10 rejections. I'm gonna get that, be able to put that one in that other one pretty soon, because I've already gotten 10 rejections or whatever.
Yeah.
I play a game. That's how I get a visual.
So, and that's awesome. And I want you to keep doing that. I just want you to add one more thing to it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, write that number down. That's it. You don't have to go through this elaborate spreadsheets like I do. You don't have to do that. All we want to know is what these numbers are, and just keep a tally of those, and then someone else can add them for you.
Good.
And they can say, this is where the problem is, or this is where the problem is. Because if you're attending, let's say you're attending 80% of them, and your ratio is down here, what's your problem?
Closing.
Qualifying.
Qualifying. Yeah, it has nothing to do with closing. I mean, if I send the best agent out there to a home that's not going to sell, they're not going to get the listing, right? So you can look at these numbers and you can say, okay, I'm attending a lot of appointments. And as a new agent, we try to go out there and say, I got an appointment, I'm going out. And then we look at what these ratios are. So one way to improve, track everything you're doing. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, the second thing is align yourself with top producers or people doing the same things that you want to do. Why would that be beneficial?
Because like-minded, you kind of rub off on each other.
Yeah, you can build off of each other. Okay, what else?
It's all about frequencies, man. People with bad energy or negative frequencies will bring you down. If you're around people who have success and positive things going on, it's a higher vibration.
Yeah.
If you're into that.
You ever been around some friends where all of a sudden you start acting a little different than you normally do? You're either a little more outgoing with certain friends or you're a little bit more timid and shy with other friends. Doesn't necessarily mean you're doing bad things. It's just the environment that you're around creates the energy level that you're giving out. So
You can learn from them.
You can learn from them. So if you're wanting to become a better tennis player, would you play with me or would you play with a professional? Probably with a professional.
You want to beat someone once in a while too. So
You're right. Yep. So, has anybody ever listened to Darren Hardy? Darren Hardy. He used to be the publisher of Success Magazine. So I really like Darren Hardy. He's one of the 5 people that I listen to. He's got really good thoughts, and he was talking about this association and how he quotes Jim Rohn, and he says, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Has anyone ever heard that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're the average of the most people you look at, we got to figure out who you're spending time with. And he created this exercise. It's his 3x5 association assessment. And I'm going to show you what it is, and then I want you to go back and do this so you can really see the benefit of what it is. So the first thing we want to look at is professional associations. So who would that be?
People at work.
Okay. Anybody else?
Their clients.
Clients? Okay. How about personal associations?
Family, friends.
Okay, so we're going to put family in that one, and then social. That would be more like friends, who you hang out when you're playing, when you're most relaxed. So I want you to think about this. Think of 5 people that you spend most time with. And they can intermix. Your professional life can intermix with your personal life. Your personal life, like if I'm hanging out, most likely I'm going to be hanging out with my wife and some friends. Not everybody's like that, but that's for me. So my wife goes here and my wife goes here, but I don't really associate with her much when I'm at work. So she's not in my professional associations. Does that make sense? Okay. And then there is, then I want you to label these people in this group either an L, a D, or an E. An L is limit, disassociate, and expand. So give me an example of what limited association would be.
Don't spend as much time with them as you have been because they're not bringing you up.
So does anybody have anybody who's in a professional setting who you hang out with an awful lot, who's on your list that you look at and you're like, maybe we need to limit that?
Jason.
Yeah, Jason. At least I'm the L, not the D. Then you look in this same list, and you say, okay, these people don't have any influence on me that's positive. I need to start disassociating. So I want you to label these 5 people an L, D, or an E. And E would be expand the relationship with them. These are people that you want to have more of a relationship with. Now, this can also mean people that are not necessarily in your presence, but you listen to them all the time. So if you're always listening to, so I always listen to Darren Hardy. He talks to me probably more than most people because he's on my car for 30 minutes a day, right? So he's in this section, even though I don't physically sit down with him, he's part of that group. So when I looked at him and I said, okay, do I want to limit my association with him? Do I want to disassociate with him? Do I want to expand the association with him? I wanted to expand the association, okay? That's the 3 section. So I want you to look at it and say, expand, and I want you to figure out 3 people in each of these categories that you want to expand your associations with. So I knew for me, just going back to the car and driving around, I used to listen to the radio, and I decided that I needed to start limiting my association with just normal radio because I couldn't control what was coming into my head. And it wasn't until I was 3 weeks into listening to the radio that I realized, oh man, I'm thinking not the way I want to. I want to think differently. So I start disassociating with it and I start limiting. Now I just use it if I want to think differently. I turn on the radio for that specific reason. Otherwise, we'll turn on something else. Same thing with this. Can you really disassociate yourself from certain members of your family?
Yes.
You can. Should you sometimes? Yes. But it's a lot harder. I mean, let's say that it's a mother-in-law that lives with you. Can you disassociate with her? Well, not really. You're going to be there. You're going to be around them, right? But you can start limiting your association. You can be conscious of it. When we're conscious of things that we're doing, we're able to grow. Remember, we're talking about growing here. We're tracking what we're doing. We're figuring out who we're spending our time with, who's putting stuff in our heads, and then expand that association. If you think differently and act differently around certain people, they're gonna think and act differently as well. When I was in school, I had a class I really didn't like taking. It was a history class, and there was 3 of my friends. We were in the class, and we knew we weren't going to pass this class if we didn't create some kind of motivation. And between the 3 of us, we had created this association around this class of we're gonna all do really well in this class. And when one got an A on a paper and the rest of us got A minuses, it was like we're going to try really hard to beat him the next time. And it was specifically because of this association that we created, that we went to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so when we're talking about growth, these are the people that they're going to determine which direction you're growing, whether it's positive or negative. Number 3 is called time chunking, or what I have learned it as is jam sessions. Now, does anybody have any problem with focus?
Yes.
Focus? Focus? Squirrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, focus. Okay, so when we're talking about focusing, has anybody tried multitasking before? How does it work for you?
Does it?
It doesn't work really well.
You can't give 100% of your focus if you're multitasking to anything.
Yeah. Really doesn't necessarily exist. And I want to show you how it doesn't exist. We think of multitasking as something that we can do and we can get better at it as a skill, but it's not. It's something we switch. So I want you to try something. I want you to pick a partner real quick and do this exercise with me. So grab a partner and decide who's A and who's B. Does everybody have a partner?
I wanted to be A.
You got a partner? Wanda's right there. You go with Wanda. Okay. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want partner A, I want you to do this exercise. I want you to look at your partner and count 1 to 10 as fast as you can go.
Which one was A?
Okay, was that easy?
Yes.
Okay, now what I want you to do is same person. I want you to focus, I want you to do A through J. So the alphabet, just go A, B, C through J. Same thing.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H,
Okay? Was that easy? Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to do the same thing, but I want you to say A1, B2, C3 through J.
I'm trying to do that.
Okay, stop.
Whoa.
Okay, how did that work out?
That's a
Slower.
Okay, so we know the tasks. We know the tasks are easy. We can go 1 to 10 really easy. We can go A, B, C, all the way to J really easy. We know those tasks. But then we try to mix them together, and what happens? Slows you way down.
And we're not as accurate.
And you're not as accurate. You're trying to think of it, right? So when we're trying to grow and we're trying to do something, and we have so many things going on in our head, are we really that productive? So what's one thing in real estate that we do that subconsciously? When we're multitasking and we're not really saying we're multitasking, what are we doing? Prospecting. Why? Because we're prospecting and we're doing what?
Looking at our email, text.
Email, text. We're looking at everything. And at the end of the hour, we say, we prospected. We did a really good job, right?
No.
So here's what the thing. Number 3 is time chunking, or what I call a jam session. It's 90 minutes. 90 minutes is uninterrupted focus on what you're trying to accomplish. Okay? So if I want to prospect and I need to have 90 minutes uninterrupted, what needs to happen?
Turn yourself on.
Well, for one thing, for me,
Mm-hmm.
if I prospect in my office, I'm multitasking. I have everything sitting there needing to do and wanting to do and all this, and it doesn't get done. When I prospect in the pit, in that cubicle, it blocks off a lot of my distractions. So for me, when I prospect, I do better when I'm doing it in a cubicle where there's not a lot of.
So you have to take yourself out of your environment that you're used to getting distracted in. Yeah, I like that. Okay, what else can we do?
See, and I am completely opposite, where when I tried to prospect in the pit, I kept getting distracted
Mhm.
by what other people were saying, and I found myself actually like losing track of my script. So I have to be alone when I prospect, so then I'm not getting distracted by the other people around me.
Okay. Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way. It's finding out what's working for you and how you're getting distracted. If you're conscious of what distracts you, then you can separate those tasks. That's why I don't, when they say prospect for 3 hours straight, you don't want to prospect straight 3 hours, because there's things that are gonna come up, you're gonna distract yourself. But what I found works for me is for 90 minutes, I'll set a clock. I'll set a clock that says I'm doing this one task for 90 minutes. At 90 minutes, I'm done. And I can move on. Now the goal is to have a couple of these jam sessions through your day so you can be productive. But if you can focus on one thing, then move to the next, you're going to have more success than if you're just focusing on both of them at the same time. Even if it's as easy as, oh, text messages came in. Oh, we'll talk about them. We'll talk to them later. That little disruption right there slows you down, slows your process down. Number 4 is practice. And this is not just practice, it's intentional practice. How many in here know the Mike Ferry listing presentation word for word? Okay, so we chant it almost every single day, but most people don't have it memorized word for word, right? It's because we're not intentionally trying to do something with it. We're just, really the objective of why we're doing it after morning ascent is to get your tongue working so that you can go upstairs and prospect. It's not necessarily to ingrain a new skill into our system. We're not focusing on taking more listings during that time. We're focusing on getting your mind and your voice and everything ready to go so that you can talk to people and not fumble all over your words, kind of a thing. Does that make sense?
And so you know what to say if you're ever in.
Yeah. So there's 2 kinds of practice. There's just practicing to practice, and then there's intentional practice. I played basketball with some friends of mine 3 days a week, so Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and I've done that for 25 years. Okay? In 25 years, you'd think that I would be good at it. But it's just for fun. I'm just having fun. So some days I have a good day, some days I miss everything. You know, and it doesn't bother me because that was the effort that I put into it. So when we're looking at this and we're trying to increase our take ratio and we're attending a 30-minute role play session and that's all we're doing, are we going to improve that?
No, take longer.
It's going to take a lot longer, but it could take forever. So the way that I'm going right now with my basketball, will I ever make the NBA?
No.
But I'm putting in the time, 25 years, an hour a day for 25 years. I'm putting in the time.
You're going to be healthy.
I'm going to be healthy.
So what's your intention in the first place? Is it to be the best basketball? Or is it just to casually be with the guys and play and just shoot a few hoops?
Yeah.
Social.
Yeah, for me it's social. So I have no intention on going to the NBA. But if I had that intention, the method that I'm using is not going to get me there. We have that same problem when we're in real estate. We feel like by participating in certain activities, we're getting the benefit from those activities. We go to a sales talk last week and we listened to all this great stuff and we applied none of it.
Okay, so the jazz practice all the time
Mhm.
because they have the intention that if I practice, I'm going to be making $35 million.
Right.
You're not going to be making $35 million.
I'm not going to. No.
So you don't have that same intention.
Or intensity.
Yeah.
Either way.
Or intensity, yeah. I'm not bringing that intensity. Yeah, so in that arena, I have, sure, I would love to make $35 million a year.
Think what we could do, people we could
Yeah.
help.
You know, think of it, yeah, I would love to do that. But in reality, when we pull it back and say, what are we doing in our own life that we're only doing part way? Now, there's certain things that are fun that you guys do, and that you should keep doing it as fun. And we don't need to increase those. You don't need to be intense with, you know, for me, basketball or, you know, whatever your interests are, exercises. If your intent is just to be healthy and you're not going to be the bodybuilder, sorry. Then you wouldn't focus on
Why did you
that.
point at Russ?
Because he wanted to be a bodybuilder.
Oh.
No,
So, but think about it in real estate. Who wants to be a top producer? Who wants to be successful? Who wants to make a lot of money?
What's your intention?
What's your intention? You know, if your intention is, I'm okay making $80,000 and I'm only going to talk to this many people and I don't really care, and if 24% is where I want to be, then by all means, be there. But think about this. What if I only wanted to talk to maybe 100 people in a year, but I still wanted to make this? Is it possible?
What was every single person talk to?
With the right skill, you could do it, right? Like, it's a skill set that we're learning. If you get your close ratio up to 90%, then you would only need to talk to a few people. So when we're talking about, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, I don't have the freedoms that some other agents do. We all have the same amount of stuff. We just have to be smart about it. We have to be smart about what we're trying to accomplish. So when it comes to growth, we want to make sure we're practicing. So if you want to get good at your listing presentation, my one suggestion would be start recording it live, so you can see exactly how you perform. And that will give you the answers on that. The last one is an accountability partner, or what I call a peak performance partner. Okay, this is somebody to check in with, to keep you accountable to what you're wanting to accomplish. In our
Repeat that again.
Yeah, it's accountability partner, or you can call them a peak performance partner. This is somebody who's like-minded. Preferably, it would be somebody you put in this category right here, expanded relationships with, that you can just check in with. It doesn't have to be a formal thing. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to do X amount of stuff today, or I'm going to pay you this, right? That's definitely an accountability partner if you need it in that direction. But it's somebody to keep you moving forward. It keeps you going in the right direction. Does that make sense? I have a peak performance partner that I call every Mondays, and it's a 30-minute call, and he's not in our industry. He's just wanting to succeed at a high level. And we talk about three things. We talk about the wins that we've had over the week and the ahas, like if we had anything that came up. We talk about the challenges that we're facing, and we talk about our goals. And he knows exactly what my goals are, and even though I don't have something on the line with him, I know every Monday I call him and I have a 30-minute call to say, I did this and this is what I got out of it. And he's going to say, he said this many times, I don't know what your industry is about, but I know what you wanted to do and I know what you did. That was it. And I was like, makes sense. So the next week I didn't want to have that conversation with him again, because that was what the whole point of having somebody there. You find somebody who wants to build you up. As soon as they get to a point where you're above them, you can help them and you start moving your way up. We start associating with people that are below where we want to be. It's like going out and playing tennis with somebody who doesn't know how to play tennis and expecting to be better. You can do the actions over and over and over for 10,000 hours. We've heard that book where it says you practice for 10,000 hours, you're going to be a master at it. You practice wrong 10,000 hours, you're not going to be better at it. It doesn't matter that you did it that long. You have to be purposeful. Okay? So those are the 5 things. Track everything. Align yourself with top producers. Time chunk or jam session. Practice. And find yourself an accountability partner. And you'll find yourself growing.
Awesome.
Okay? All right. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
very
Thanks,
nice.
Jason.
Just go back
How
up
does-
to Alex.
Certainly.